And it's probably a pretty good place to start because number one, especially for beginners, you want to make sure that the movement pattern is correct. Don't worry about intensity. Don't worry about rep ranges or any of these things. You need to learn to move correctly, and you need to give your body some time to develop some tissue tolerance so that you're not getting overtly sore. In general, soreness is a terrible proxy for exercise quality. It's a really bad way to estimate whether it was a good or a bad workout, especially for people in that beginner to middle to moderate. In fact, even that for our professional athletes, we do not use soreness as a metric of a good workout. It's a really bad idea for a bunch of reasons. On the same token, because stress is required for adaptation, you don't want to leave at the gym and feel like, I don't really do much. There has to be there. So if you think about soreness on a scale of 1 to 10, you probably want to spend most of your time in like the 3.
You mean post-exercise?
Yeah.
In between workouts?
Totally.
And I know we'll talk about recovery extensively later, but if one body part or set of body parts is sore, is that an indication that one should stay out of training? I would imagine the answer is no, in most cases. And secondarily to that, if a particular muscle is sore, does that mean that muscle is not ready to be trained again?
Yeah, the answer to both those is the same, which is no, right? You can certainly train a sore muscle. You need to, I guess, have a little bit of feel on that, right? So if you're sore of like, okay, like, and you're moving around a little bit and you're like, man, this is a little bit sore, you can train. If you're like, I can't sit on the couch without crying because my glutes are so sore, like we probably don't need to train again, right?
Does whimpering count as crying?
Yeah. In that particular case, I'd say you've actually gone to the place of detriment because now you're going to have to skip a training session. And now you're behind. So your actual total volume, say across the month, is actually going to be lower because you went way too hard in those workouts, had to take too many days off in between. You're going to see that you're going to cover less distance over the course of a month or 6 months or even a year. So you want to walk a pretty fine line. And for most people, I would say hedge a little bit on the side of less sore than more sore. Because frequency is very, very important for almost all these adaptations.
Training frequency.
Which is the last modifiable variable, right? Frequency, which is how many times per week are you doing that thing. So those are kind of our global things that we can play with. So when I'm trying to manipulate and get strength versus hypertrophy, or you know what, I want like a little bit of both, all those variables are the things that are going through my mind. Which one do I need to move in which direction so that I can get this outcome and not this outcome over here? For example, some folks might want to get stronger, but not put muscle mass on. Some folks are just kind of want both. And that's a lot of the general public. I want to get a little stronger and a little bit more muscle, great. But there are instances where people, for performance reasons or for purely personal preference, like I don't want to get any more muscle, great, but I want to get stronger. Awesome. If you manipulate those variables correctly, you can get exactly that. Very little development of muscle size and a lot of development in strength. And this is why we continue to break world records in sports like powerlifting and weightlifting that have weight classes. So there's a top number that we can hit in terms of body size, but yet we continue to get stronger and faster. So this is very possible if you understand how to manipulate all those variables.